Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing? May I request everybody to unmute and share your video so that I could see everyone, except for those who are occupied or using two gadgets. So, Jojo Ing is he, and Verlin, and is Eric Carvajal a member of the service team? So I would encourage all the participants to please share your video, because it is not fair that you could only see my good looks, but I couldn't see you. Is everybody okay now? There you go. Thank you, bro. Okay.
Brother Jojo, yeah.
Okay. So I see everybody in here. Now, what we would want to do is that if you have any questions, and I hope you don't have any, feel free. It's going to be a very interactive discussion, and we will take it from there. So as a brother, what do you call his name? Brother Hector. It's been a long day, guys. So Brother Hector said that I have wisdom. I am praying the bros and sisters that may you have the wisdom to really understand and maybe discern what is appropriate for you, the topics. We're going to make it a light discussion. If ever I go talk to you, if I ask you a question, feel free to raise your issues or concerns, and we'll take it from there. I am not the expert on this, but I've gone through life. So that's all I could share with you of how to care and to love and the challenges of loving. So a little bit about myself. So I've been with the community for about, well, we attended the first Christian Life program in the mid 90s, right? Or mid to late 90s. And I'm still married to the same woman for 39 years, whom I met when I was still 17 years old, when we were just 17 years old. Yeah, so we dated for 5 years. We're now 39 years, and I'm happy. I'm only speaking for myself. I'm happy about my relationship. If you want to know if she is happy, ask her, look for her. Okay? So the topic that we're going to discuss now is loving your neighbor. So what I did gather is that on the previous week, you guys talked about the first equation, which is loving God. Am I correct? Okay.
Right.
So now we're going to talk about loving your neighbor, which is more or less on the practical aspect of loving the greatest commandment, which is loving God with all your heart and your mind and loving your neighbor as you love yourself. Are we on the same page here? Okay, and don't be shy to make any comments. Okay, so the topic for tonight, I did gather also that the time that was, how are we for time, everybody? Is there anybody who has a timeline here that had to go at a certain time? Are you all okay? Because according to Brother Hector, I have 2 hours. Are you all okay? So this is Juliana. I do recognize Jermaine and Juliana. Can I assume that I have to speak in English, correct? Okay. And how about Johan? Did I pronounce your name right, Johan? Do you speak Tagalog? You speak Tagalog. Okay, so we'll take it from there. Okay, guys, here we go. Loving your neighbor. And this is the main objective that we want to have here is the meaning of Christian love and how to help you guys apply our Christian love and life in our lives. Okay, define love. Jermaine, can you share with me your idea about love? Please unmute yourself.
My idea about love is kind of complex.
It is complex.
Yes, because it has different layers to it. So love is about emotions. It's about affections, which are not emotions, different stuff. It's
Correct.
about decision. And so you have a different kind of layers to it.
That's true. Juliana, what is your concept about love?
Muting myself. Okay. My concept about love is more about giving itself to the person you love.
Mm-hmm.
Where you.
I lost you there. I lost you.
Mute again.
Oh, okay.
Here. okay, it's more about the giving themselves to the other, and making the choice to give it to the other. Yeah, so make it may be have the purpose to give themselves to the other, and you can do that in many ways, many ways, and to be in order to be able to give itself to other or to any cause or to something, you need to purify your heart, right, and your intention. So it's the same. It's complex, but it's more like the giving.
Guys, with the answers of Jermaine and Juliana, they are all encompassing, they are all correct. So I give the floor to them now because they know the topics. How's that? You want to conduct the session now? No? Okay. What Jermaine said, it is complex. Loving and love is difficult to define because it is basically complex. It's hard to comprehend. Now, what we are going to do here is try to discuss the big concept based on our outline of what love is not and what love is. So we'll start off from those parameters. Okay. Love is different from lust or infatuation. So Jermaine, Juliana, everything that you said is basically the basic parameters of what the talk is all about. But love is different from lust or infatuation. Love is giving someone the power to break your heart, but trusting them not to break your heart. Is it too complex? My God, that sentence is... Okay. Loving God and your neighbor is basically the Christian core that we have right now. Okay. So loving your neighbor together with loving God is the core of our Christian life. And Jesus summed up the whole law in these two greatest commandments. Now, if this is clear, if we do not have love for God and for our neighbors, there is no Christianity. Christianity embodies the love of God and the love of our neighbors. Now, love is not only having positive feelings. Let's just make this clear. Guys, you have all been married. How long have, Johan, how long have you been married to Mal, to each other?
Berlin and Johannes, 5 years.
5 years.
Yes.
Okay. So, when you first saw each other, so Johan, and what's the name of your spouse?
Berlin.
Berlin. Okay. So when you first saw Berlin, what was your feeling? Share with us.
First impression was, wow, she's small. Kidding.
Okay.
No, of course, it's like, first impression is, wow, she's very beautiful. And yeah, so it's mostly physical attractions at first, and then the more I got to know her, it becomes more of I learned her attributes and all the things that make her who she is.
And were you in love right away?
Did I love right away?
Yes.
Well, it started with more of an admiration at first, and then it grew into something deeper.
Into attraction, admiration, and then you want to long to spend more time with her.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
And sister, you're smiling. Did you have the same feeling when you first saw Johan?
I think it's the same. It's mutual. So it started with physical attraction first, then grow into something deeper.
Okay, so there was more the infatuation, the attraction, trying to spend more time with each other until such time that you couldn't get enough of each other, that you long to be together most of the time. Is that how it is?
Yes.
That is the progression of love until you such time that when you don't see each other, you long for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
With a physical attraction, I just want to make sure that love and lust are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I will not go into that, but does that mean we will try to talk on the topic of what is love and what love is not? Because sometimes in our own personal experiences, we talk about love, but the level and degree of our love for each other, for our neighbors and everybody else is dependent on how much time and effort you put into caring for each other. So for purposes of our discussions, when we say about neighbors, let's talk first about the person or the people closest to you. This could be your spouse, your significant other, your girlfriend or your boyfriend, okay? So if we could establish that relationship you have with each other, the people you deal with on a daily basis, then let love grow and radiate, okay? Because we could not be talking about loving other people if we could not care to love for people who are close to us. Does that make sense? Otherwise, it's all going to be a lip service and everything is going to be theoretical. Okay, so what Christian love is not? Based on our outline, it says here, love is not only having positive feelings. It doesn't mean that when you get attracted to each other, which is basically infatuation or attraction, that is not love. We're making sense? Okay, the next thing. Love is not always saying yes. Marlene, Berlin, is it Berlin?
Berlin.
Berlin. Okay, I will pick on you, not to really pick on you, but you're the youngest one in here, okay? At least, because everybody that I see are all experienced looking. So, when you ask someone or Johan to do something, and he says not, I will not do that. Is that a sign of not loving you?
No, I don't think so.
When somebody says yes to all the time, he says yes, is that a sign of love?
No, it could
So,
just be a force. They could just be forced to do it.
okay then. So, love is not always saying yes. Okay? To serve others or to put them first does not mean never turning down opportunities to serve. Sometimes you are unable. And even if you are able, you should not even say yes. Examples. Who's got children in here? Who are the parents in here? Okay. When your child asks for something, do you always say yes? No, right? Even if you can. Even if the child requests for something, even if you could afford it, you say no, right? By saying no does not mean that you do not love the child or the person or the requester. Okay? Now, also, love is not defensive. It says here, love is a risky business. Is love a risky business? Who among you are married here? Can I just say the show of hands here? Okay. Juliana, is love a risky business?
Love is risky, but it's not a business.
Okay. Is it a
It's
risky undertaking?
It's undertaking is because you trust in the other. You put your life in the hands of the other, with a, ¿cómo se dice? Siendo un acto de fe. ¿Cómo se
You have
dice eso?
trusted the person.
Taking a leap of faith. When you marry the other, you take a leap of faith. You know the person, but you don't know it's not yours, so you don't know totally the other person. You take a leap of faith. So it's a risky undertaking because at the end you want to trust yourself, the whole of your life in the hands of the other person, right? And is that how you keep moving in your relationship? You grow you trust and you grow, right? And you put yourself, and that's how you grow in your relationship.
Beautiful. You touched on a few things in here. You trust and you grow, and that growth translates to love. Can everybody follow that? Okay, I'll raise you a question, everyone. What do you think first? Which goes first, the trust or the love? For those of you who know the answer or who have experienced or heard this question, which is first, trust or love? Hello, are you all there? Are we still together here? Daisy, you're smiling. Which goes first, trust or love?
I think for me, it starts with um, love, and then from love, it from love it stems out to your trust, or let's
Okay, that's fine.
mm, it could be it's okay. It's love, and then from that love, you get to trust with that person.
Okay, fair enough. I'll ask, who among you says that trust, which goes first? Who says trust and who says love? So who says trust? Hello, are you all with me? Who says trust? Okay, so we have two people who says trust. Who says love goes ahead of trust? Okay, now, fair enough. Your answers are correct. I'll raise you a question. Could you love someone that you do not trust? So in essence, you gotta trust someone first before you could love. As what Johan and Verlin was saying, it was infatuation. It was attraction. They longed for each other until before such time that longing and spending time with each other got to be trust. Johan, when you first invited Verlin for a date, did she say yes right away?
Actually, no, she didn't want to get into my car because
Why?
she's a like a true Filipina. So she doesn't want to, she's been raised not to go into dates right away.
Well, because maybe she could not trust you.
She couldn't trust me at first.
Why
Yes.
was she not trusting you? Because she doesn't know you.
Yes.
I mean, can you see? I mean, the parallelism here, guys, of the love and the relationship that you're having with each other, right? You could not, Berlin decided not to join you first on your first date because she doesn't know you, correct? But the more that you spend time with each other, the more that you long for each other, and that longing translates into love. That you get to be inseparable, that you now got to be married as husband and wife. Does that make sense? Jermaine, what do you think? Jermaine, don't take notes. Are you taking notes? You're scaring me.
I do take notes,
You
yes.
do take notes.
For my
Oh
own
my
sake.
God. This is for your own sake. Oh my God, this is evidence. So are we making sense in
He
here?
always takes notes.
Oh, he always does take notes. Okay.
Yeah.
So are we on the same page here now about this love and trust, and it's not being defensive? As Juliana said, it is risky, but it is because of that trust that growth develops, and that growth is translated into love. Okay? So we're trying to form the foundation in here. So what else is not love? Love is not having too many conditions. Are you okay, guys? Did you understand what that meant? Love is not having too many conditions, because if you put an imposition of conditions on your relationship, it is bound to fail. In a relationship here, Sister Sharon, and what's the name of your husband? You please unmute yourselves.
Chris.
Chris and Sharon. Okay. Do you have so many impositions or conditions that you give on your husband?
Sometimes I do.
Sometimes you do. And does Chris always say yes to your conditions? Is it always fulfilled?
Not always.
Not always.
Yeah.
And does that affect the relationship? Does that affect the love you have for him?
No.
Okay. So, Brother Chris, do you have also conditions for your wife?
I think nothing.
You are a man of wisdom. Because
Love,
if you give too
love
many
me.
impositions on your wife, you'll be in trouble. Okay, because it's bound to fail. Okay, on a more serious note, brothers and sisters, Christian love is not guaranteed to be painless. There will always be pain. As what Sister Juliana did say, it is risky. It is something that would encourage some pain. But the pain is endured through the commitment you have for each other under the name of marriage. And the injury is sustained through forgiveness. Can we follow that? Have you learned to love someone and you were hurt by someone? Are you there, guys? I can see your faces. So what did you do when you were hurt by this person that you love? Let's talk to the Carvajal. Is that Carvajal couple? Okay, bros and sis. So what happened? Have you encouraged that, experienced that?
Well, we had to talk about it. Like when you
Talk
hurt
to each
by, we had to talk with each other
hurts.
why, why it wasn't done like that, or it wasn't, why,
You hurt each other.
why the situation is like that. Like
Okay.
because it might have a reason why it wasn't, accomplished or whatever. But when you talk about it, you'll know the reason, and then you can forgive.
Guys, the operative word for loving a neighbor is forgiveness. And we're starting off for the neighbors is our family, our spouses, our children, our in-laws. So when we say forgiveness, that is including all our relatives and family. But what happens now if the person that has offended you has done really something hurtful? What do you guys do? Does that mean you do not love the neighbor or the person who has hurt you?
No, like depends on the situation, right? Like even if it's probably the biggest one, you had to weigh things out because you get married, you love each other, you trust each other. So with just one situation, you're gonna break apart. I don't think so. It can be talk about forgiveness, and of course you have to pray in order for God to guide you.
Amen. You said the right two words, forgiveness and prayers. That is the secret weapon that you will always have in having a healthy lifestyle of loving your neighbor. Let's face this, guys. There will be people who will be hard or difficult to love. And there will be people who will never love you, whatever you are, whatever goodness you do. Have you experienced those things? Have you met those people that just by the mere mention of your name, they get upset? Have you experienced that? There's so much anger. Juliana, you were saying something. Unmute yourself, my dear.
I haven't had that experience with myself.
Yes.
Yeah. No, no, I haven't experienced that with somebody else.
Okay.
So it's just not. I'm not there.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. That's understandable, right?
It's I mean, probably maybe when I wasn't a teenager, but like when you're a teenager, you have so many emotions, but after that, no.
We all pass through the stage. That's why we say the feelings of love change. Everything changes. So it is all up to us now to really know and do what are the foundations that would make our living a healthier one. So we have now discussed about, another thing, what love is not. We are on the topic of what love is not. Love is not being manipulative. Manipulative, what does that mean? You manipulate when you give love as a reward or withdraw love as a punishment. Okay, guys, the topics that we have for tonight is for adult audiences only. So, or for the adult listener. So it's for mature audiences. So if for a married couple, let's say, brother, let's take on the Carvajal couple again. If you use love as a means, as a punishment and reward, that is not love.
Correct.
So for a married couple, let's say one of you is going on an amorous relationship or a feeling. Honey, let's celebrate, let's have sex. Let me express my love for you by having sex. And one is so upset. That is manipulative love. If you use sex, if you use reward, if you use anything else as a reward or as a punishment, that is manipulative. And that is not love. Are we making sense here? Can you guys follow me?
Yes.
Okay. So you upset me, don't ever even go near me. No kiss, no hug, no food, no nothing. That is manipulative love. Because you guys know that the real meaning of love is unconditional love. Easier said than done, correct?
Yes.
But it is very difficult. Jermaine, I was just wondering, if you don't mind me asking, are you with somebody? Are you married? You're by yourself? Jermaine?
Yeah.
Oh,
There
there's.
she is.
Oh, now. Excuse me. Are you the couple? Jermaine and Juliana?
Yeah, we are.
Oh my goodness. Why in the world are you? I thought you were two different and distinct people. So now I'm laughing. Okay, so
He's
that's
in
better
one
now.
side of the balcony. Emilio.
Oh, okay then. So that's fine. So that.
So yes, the answer is
Go ahead, Jermaine.
yes, I am with someone.
And that someone is right beside you. You got me there. So this is the difficulty of doing a Zoom presentation. See, it's a good thing I asked. I said, okay. Anyway, so we now know what Christian love is not, or love is not. So let's go to the next topic. So what is Christian love then? We know what love is not. So what then is Christian love? Guys, I will not touch on a lot of things here because we don't have really the time, right? But based on your experience, I want you to deduce the topics based on your experience and work on that. Either with your spouse, with your partner, with your friends, with the people you deal with. Okay, the answer is in John. Jesus spoke of a love that is connected with keeping God's commandments. There can be no Christian love apart from righteousness. Guys, we all try to pursue holiness and righteousness. Loving is not compatible with sinning. Just focus on that. Loving is not compatible with sinning. We have to be consistent in our efforts in being righteous. Mind you guys, in our journey of Christian life, even though how hard you try to be righteous, to be holy, the evil one or Satan will always try to distract you and allow you to commit sin. Have you experienced that? I must admit, I must share with you guys, even though you are already in your deep prayer, Satan will try to distract you with your prayer time with the Lord. Have you experienced that? For couples, you are already praying. There are times that sometimes you get to be annoyed by something. You are in a happy mood together, and then all of a sudden Satan could just distract you, and then all of a sudden you find yourselves fighting. Have you found yourselves in that kind of a situation? Like for no other reason, you're just fighting. Have you experienced that? Who among you have experienced that? Oh, Juliana, you have experienced that too?
Yeah, as you say, it happened, right? Sometimes you just have a. I mean, it happened to me before that I have a very good plan to spend with Jermaine a couple of hours, whatever, and all of a sudden I have this strange mood. It can be hormones as well, but it also happens.
So
Right? And I will start fighting, and I'm the most vocal here, so poor.
that's fine. And Jermaine, what did you do? How did you handle that? Jermaine, how do you handle that?
Depends on the circumstance.
Depends on the circumstance. Okay, that's fair enough,
Yeah.
right? So,
I
in any
mean, sometimes the best way of doing it is and give time, some chance to clarify things because sometimes I'm clueless, right? So,
okay, guys, very good comments here, and very good handling of these situations, guys. So when you love somebody, it's not what about you. Try to remember this. When you love somebody, it should be based on sacrificial love. You guys will never find your perfect partner. Never. Because if you think that you got married to change somebody, that is not love. That is conditional love. But if you try, as you got married, as you grow together, as you experience together, if your mindset is basically how could you be the right partner in showing the love for your partner, then every day that love is nurtured and is growing and it is strengthened over years. Are we making sense here? Johan? Are we okay? Berlin? You're smiling.
Yes, yes, sir.
Don't
Totally
tell
makes
me.
sense.
Okay. So how did Jesus love? Jesus loved by sacrificial love. It is not just giving our time or imparting our wisdom or praying for others, but dying for others. It is here on the outline. Let me just clarify this. Does dying mean physical death? Who would want to answer that? Does dying for someone you love meaning physical death? Daisy?
It can be in the form of any sacrifices.
Correct. Joey, you want to say something? Does love mean physical death mean dying for someone?
No, actually, no. I was just saying the same as Daisy's. Like, for me, it's a sacrifice, sacrificing something or your, I don't know, maybe your life, but it's not actually dying. I
Okay.
think it's a sacrifice.
Who's got some other ideas here? Any comments, guys? Juliana, you want to say
Me,
something?
yes. So it also can be dying to your own visions, right? Or to your own, to your all self. That's what St. Paul will say. Die in the old man or to die into the old women. If you have, I mean, if, like me, I am prone to how is it, Ira?
anger.
To anger. I'm prone to anger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Poor thing. He suffers because I am the one. So I will die to my anger when I want to. I feel that I want to have my own way. I know I'm not having my own way, so I want to get angry. So I'm gonna die to two things there: to having my own way and to my own anger, because I'm gonna talk over things or want to. I mean, grow, and I don't want to discuss. I want to. It's just not making peace, but having a healthy conversation, right?
Fantastic. You nailed it again, Juliana. When we say dying to oneself, it is not physical death, but it is dying for what or going out of our comfort zone. You express it clearly, Juliana, that when we say dying, you deal like your shortcomings, the anger, correct? So that is what we say that if your habits as a husband and wife are annoying and your spouse tells you don't do that or try to make amendments, please put in that extra effort, though how inconvenient it may be. Because true love, brothers and sisters, is basically getting out of your comfort zone. Are we making sense here? Can you follow me? So what Juliana said, it's always nice to be angry if you like, if you know you're prone to that. But in this, for the sake of Jermaine, she tries to be more aware, to be more consistent. And that's how dying for oneself is. Okay. What it really means is death of one's self. Giving up a part of yourself. In marriage, we have to get out of our comfort zone to manifest love. A lot of changes in our way of life to make your partner happy. We have to make a sacrifice to show our love. We can't claim you love your spouse when you could not even take the garbage out. Johan, do you take the garbage out?
Yes, it's my duty every
So,
Tuesday.
does your spouse have to tell you that you have to take out the garbage?
No, actually not.
Okay. So you are on the good track here. That's the way it is be. So what I'm trying to say, brothers and sisters, is this. If your spouse requests for something and you don't feel like doing it, do it. Go out of your comfort zone. Let it be a habit to please somebody. And it's not always a question of going back of saying yes or saying no, but doing the right thing and being the right spouse. We will all have our imperfections, but let's try to focus on the positives of why we married each other. Are we making sense here, guys? How come everybody's in deep thought? Are we going too deep with this or not? Are you all okay? How about the Carvajal family? Are you guys okay?
Yes.
Okay, so no question about that, huh?
No.
Okay. When we say dying for each other, a while ago we talked about dying for oneself. How about dying for others? What does that really mean? How do we translate love into practical, everyday terms? Example, you must have heard the question or the situation. In a life and death situation, who would you serve first or save first? Your wife or your only child? I'm throwing in situations that that could happen or may not happen. So put yourself in this kind of situation. In a situation like that, life and death, who would you save first? Your wife or your only child? Is the person you save first the person you love most? This is called dying for others, guys. I'm just throwing in situations for us to know how we put into practical aspects the theories that we know as Catholics and as Christians. So, who says you're going to save your spouse first? Okay. Who says you're going to save your only child or your child? Okay. Guys, there is no right or wrong question or answer. In a moment like that, pray hard. Pray that the Holy Spirit will give you the guidance to save whoever you could save. Because as I told you, there are times that in as much that we would want to save somebody that we care for, we couldn't do it. But in situations like that, the operative word and action is pray. Lord, give me the guidance. Is there a question, bro? You have a question, bro? Romel? Wala? None. Did I make sense here? But if you will ask me directly, who am I going to save first? I'm going to save myself first. Just like in an airplane. Make sure you save yourself first. Put in your gas mask first before you save a child. Does that make sense? But at the same time, pray fervently. That is going to be your secret for any situation that you would be confronted from. Okay? Loving your neighbors is not only praying for yourself, but also praying for others. You don't just pray for yourself, guys. Pray for others. Pray for the people who are suffering right now. That is what you can do at that very moment. Okay, now, how did Jesus show his love for us? He died on the cross. We know that, right? We all know that. He demonstrated Christian love as service love. We have already talked about the manifestations of what love is, what Christian love is, and what it is not. Now, how do we know then of the characteristics of Christian love? Okay. Brothers and sisters, who has read, are you aware of the gospel for today? That Jesus Christ was asked by one man, how do I enter the gates of heaven? And stuff like that, right? So in a general storyline, Jesus answered by saying, you got to follow the commandments, correct? This is just more of a refresher. The gospel for today says, Jesus said, for you to enter the gates of heaven, follow the commandments. But the man who was asking is a man of possessions. And he said, but what do I do for me to enter the gates of heaven? Jesus said, leave and sell your possessions and come follow me. Now, translating this into practical point of view, how do you show your love for each other, for your neighbors? Do you have to sell your property? Jojo, for you to be able to save or love, to show you love somebody, do you have to sell your possessions? Because it's in the Bible. And come follow Jesus. Please unmute yourself. Ano, bro? I cannot. Can you hear Jojo? You are on a mute, bro. Okay. We all have possessions, right? Okay. So the gospel for today, very opportune, said,
yes, bro.
Is there somebody talking?
Wait, bro.
Okay.
Sorry, bro.
No problem. So,
Yeah.
do you have to sell your possessions to be able to say, I love my neighbor, I have to sell my possessions, and I'll come follow Jesus? Share with me. Come on, share with me your thoughts. Anybody?
It's the same thing, bro, when you decided to do something like getting married, you have to get away from your parents, like that, leaving behind everything that you have there and start new. That's what I'm understanding.
That is true, because your commitment is to your spouse,
Yes,
correct?
right.
And that is on the Bible. So assuming now that in the stage of your life, you make decisions together in helping out others, because people will come and approach you and ask for guidance and for help. What do you do? So based on the Bible study, we're not trying to dissect the Bible here. We're just trying to put it on a practical point of view.
Yes.
Okay? So the Bible, the reading today says, sell your possessions and come follow me. That's what Jesus said to the person who was asking, Jesus, how could I enter the gates of heaven?
Yeah, it's just like you're not attached to anything else, so that you're gonna be a good follower. So it means that you deny the most precious of your possession, and to live simple life. That's like Jesus live.
You got it right, bro.
Yep.
The operative word is do not be attached to your
Yes.
possessions.
Right.
Do not be attached to your possessions. Because if you look at it this way, brothers and sisters, the way that God has given us, has shown his love, is by blessing us with all the things that we don't even need. Can you follow? But if you get attached to any of these material things, or the things that were loaned out into our lives, because you could not partake of it, meaning to say somebody needs it more, you could say, no, I want this, is somebody would benefit from it. That is not a way of selling or giving up your possessions. Guys, it's a little bit complex because God gave us the responsibility to be good stewards. Will you blame God if you were given all these blessings? That you were able to afford this and afford that? Would you blame God? Of course not, right?
Yeah.
But when you lose all of these things, you blame God. The tendency is to blame the Father if we lost the things that is a part of our comfort zone. Yes or no? We tend to, right? But the thing that would really draw you down is when you have these possessions and the attachment. You got it right there, bro. The attachment to all of these possessions. Brothers and sisters, as true Christians, when God gives us all these blessings, use it as a blessing to others. In our discussion of loving your neighbor, brothers and sisters, I just want you to, I could never emphasize enough. If your hands are clasped, your fist is clasped, are you in a position to give? Are you also in a position to receive?
Nope.
No, right? But if your hands are like this, you are in a position to give your time, your talent, your resources to a neighbor who is in need, then you are also in a position to receive. That's why when we pray, give us this day our daily bread. Brothers and sisters, we are in a time of pandemic. We were all in a lockdown. Have you ever thought, by just sitting at home, being with all your loved ones, were you given the chance to assess the things that's important to you in your life? You did, right? So what are the things important in your life? Voice out, guys. What's important in your life?
Family.
Your family. Everything else is
Nothing.
Extra.
secondary or nothing.
Yeah.
There you go. So, if you have that strong relationship, if you have that strong faith, if you believe that God, and you know that God has always blessed us, everything else is secondary. When you wake up this morning and you see that your spouse, your children are all doing well and you have cared for each other, that is a blessing in itself. Brothers and sisters, just remember this. All the blessings that you receive is nothing if it is not shared as a blessing to others. And you could not say you love God if you could not love and share whatever you have for the people that you see every day. That is the basic concept of loving your neighbor. Sometimes it's hard. Okay. Juliana and Jermaine, I will cite an example here, and I hope you would be able to relate to this. We came from a third country, a developing country. Who among you send money to the Philippines? Okay. Juliana, you came from what country, if you don't mind me asking?
We both come from Peru.
Oh, from Peru.
Yes.
Okay. So
Same thing.
do you have relatives who are in Peru?
Yes, most of my family is there.
Okay. Is there a chance that most of them, or one or two members of your family would ask for, Jermaine, Juliana, we need some extra cash in here, and you
It happened
send
to
out?
me before. Yeah, we did that before many times.
Okay, then that's
Mm-hmm.
fine. Many times. Do you
Yeah.
always say yes?
Yes.
Okay. There are times that you would want to say no.
Yeah, because we were just newcomers here. We were trying to make out. was
Yes.
hard for us to make ends, no.
Okay.
But anyways, family was needing help, and it
I
was our duty, right, to help
Yes,
them. Mhm.
it is our duty. Now I will ask everybody. So I will just talk to you, Jermaine and Julian, because we are all basically came from the similar um, developing country, right? And chances are that people will be asking for our help. Now, Juliana, Jermaine, I'll throw in the question and I'll address you guys. If you think that the help that you're giving out is not doing any good, will you continue on helping?
What? Yes, I'm sorry. He can listen
Okay.
with his computer.
So I will ask
Yes.
you one thing.
Just
So
give me 1 second.
okay,
Okay. Yeah. Can you repeat?
okay. So it is always nice to be able to help and share the blessings. Now, so assuming that you give out help to your relatives in the in Peru, and you know that the help that you have extended is not helping them or is not doing them any good, would you continue on helping?
You say if that help is not doing them any good, or
Yes.
if it's not enough.
If it's not doing them any good, because being enough is always relative.
No, we wouldn't. I would say so. We wouldn't.
No. Yeah.
Juliana, right?
Yeah. It will. Yeah. Yeah. If that's not something that is helping the other person, we won't keep doing that, right?
So the question I raise is basically how putting into practical ways what we say, loving your neighbor by sharing your blessings. So I'm throwing a specific question here. And the Filipinos, the members of the gallery right now may also answer that on your own. Okay. So if it is not doing them any good and you do not, what would you do? Would you continue? Would you stop? Juliana, Jermaine? So if it's not doing them any good, would you continue in helping them, or would you stop?
First we need to see, okay, what is happening there. Why is that the help they are asking is not doing good? I'm not telling a difference. It's not like the help is not enough. Is it not doing good? Is this hurting them? Is this hurting them? If this is hurting them, of course we're going to stop.
Okay.
So if they don't know how to administer the goods they are receiving, we can help them to understand or to teach them how to administer those goods, and so they can use that in a better way.
Okay.
And
correct.
if they don't need that help at all, and we need that resources, we need the resources, right? to make our own living, yeah, to be able to live, right? So we stop.
We stop. So when you stop, what do you do with your blessings? I'm throwing I'm addressing the whole gallery, guys. Huh? I'm just talking to Juliana and Jermaine right now. So you decided, for all of the others, you decided the help that you're giving out is not helping them. It's not doing them any good. So you decided to stop. So what do you do now with the blessings?
It's a matter of thinking about that.
It's a lot of
In principle, I would say let's save them until we find something good to do with them. I mean, I don't know.
Perfect. You got it again. If you think that the blessings that you are sharing, and this I'm addressing everyone, is not doing good to the recipient, stop it, but continue on sharing your blessings to somebody who is in more need. The sharing does not stop because the recipient is going downhill. So all I'm trying to say, brothers and sisters, is this. For you to have this blessing, continuously share your blessings, because there is always somebody, a neighbor, who will be in need. So my next question here is this. Who are your neighbors? The neighbors that we all have. As long as he is an individual who is breathing, there is always a neighbor that we could extend our help. Are we making sense here? Is this easy? Is it difficult? Am I confusing you or what? So is it easy to love your neighbor? Is it easy to love your neighbor? It will never be easy to love your neighbor because love is a risky thing to do. The people that you cared for will hurt you. The people that you thought would be your supporter will bite you. But that is not our problem. We as Christians, to love our neighbors is basically do the best we could with all the resources and the blessings that the Lord has given us, but do the best you could also to share it as a blessing to others. And sharing your blessings does not come in times of need only. You could always give a part of yourself on a daily basis. I will ask a question, but you do not have to answer. During these COVID times, how have we helped somebody in need? As an individual and as a couple. You guys are so in deep thought right now, guys. It's difficult when we're dealing with Zoom meeting, right? I cannot really gauge your reactions. So the question I raised is, but don't answer. You in your solitary moments, in your lockdown moments, ponder on how you have helped somebody. Ponder on how you have touched someone's life. It doesn't have to be grandiose. Have you asked your neighbor, an elderly, like, I am going to the grocery. Do you need something? Can I get you something? It's the little things, brothers and sisters. And it's those little things that you always keep on doing that could become a part of your Christian journey. Am I making sense here? Or even by just a neighbor in need, you know somebody, you do not have to ask somebody, you do not have to wait for somebody in need to say, Hector, I need cash. But if you know that somebody is in dire need, who has lost their jobs, who has lost a life, and everybody else is unemployed, share whatever you can. And do not expect anything in return. Daisy, are you okay? Okay, so where are we now?
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else I can help with?
My God, see? The other phone I have, be careful of what you say and do. I was not even talking to her. I'm not even talking to you and you're answering back. My goodness. Okay. So, what Christian love is not? Christian love is being patient. Okay? I will not touch on everything, but just a few points. Being patient. Anybody who works with customer relationship here, relations? Anybody on the customer relations or working in an office? I'll throw you one example. When you're talking to your customer and a very difficult customer, you show your patience, correct? You do not want to show your tantrums in the office. Yes? Because it does not reflect on being a good employee. But how come when you guys go home on a really bad day and times are tough, do you still have the same patience with your spouse, with your children, with the people you deal with? You're smiling. So what I'm trying to say, brothers and sisters, is this. Try to be consistent with our behavior. How come when you deal with your office mates, you are civil, you are patient, you do not show the other side of you. But when you come home, you're cranky, you're antsy, you don't have any patience. Okay? So just things to watch out for. Christian love is not being jealous and coveting what others have or begrudging another for having something you do not have. Juliana and Jermaine, not that I'm picking on you. How long have you been in Canada?
We have been here 9 years myself and 10 years Herman.
Okay then. So basically, like any other Filipino, when they came to Canada or like any other nationality, you try to look for the same nationality and converge with them, correct? Yes? You look for the Peruvian community, and then we look for the Filipino community, the East Indian community, the Chinese community, correct? Yeah. And then you all compare notes, and then you all share the support of each other, or we will all be fine here in Canada because we have these communities, correct? Have you ever experienced that a Filipino or in a Peruvian family, you say, oh my God, we just arrived at the same time. How come you're so progressive in no time at all? Are you jealous?
Have you a progress? Oh. Progress. Mm-hmm.
So Juliana, did you get that question?
Yes.
So we all came together. Let's say we all came together at the same time. How come that all of a sudden you are also progressive? You got your job right away. You get your title right away. And you were able to buy a house right away. Brothers and sisters, watch out for these signs, because these are the signs that the devil is working into your mind of jealousy. Have you found yourself in that? Don't answer. Don't answer. Because you could have met somebody who just arrived, coming from a different country, but has done so well. And that affects the bond of friendship, the bond of helping each other. Oh, all of a sudden they're rich. All of a sudden they were able to afford this, etc., etc. These are pangs of jealousy. You're smiling, Berlin. Yes, you want to say something? Share with us.
It just we can kind of relate to what you're saying, but it's more so it happened at my work when someone whom I recently trained is all of a sudden someone I referred into the company, and I trained this person is now all of a sudden she has a leadership title, and yeah, I have to say I was a little bit jealous because I've been working my butts off to get the same credibility, but I'm still where I'm at. So
thank you for sharing that example. That is a true example of caring for each other, right? So how do you handle that now under the message of loving your neighbor? How do you deal with that?
What I learned today, which is through prayers and faith.
You got it. You could not change the person, but you could ask the Holy Spirit and God's guidance through your prayers and total surrender. You just said it right. I mean, you guys are awesome. You just hit the right notes, basically. You don't need me. So what were this? No, because in as much that I need you, I mean, I am learning from all of you guys, and you guys are an inspiration. Because everything that was written in here is everything that you have spoken. We are all blessed, guys. So the times may not always be right. The people that you cared for will hurt you. But when that thing happens, pray. Pray for enlightenment. Pray for forgiveness. Pray for fortitude. Pray that you do not fall into the trap of envy. And for loving our neighbors, guys, we just have to be humble. Okay? Because among all the virtues, Humility is a virtue that the devil will have a hard time. Because when you are humble, there is no pride. As long as you are, whatever you are doing is for the name of our Lord. Don't let the right hand know what the left hand is doing. Easy, right? But let it be a part of your Christian living, and then it gets to be easier. So don't be jealous about somebody. Johan, the mere fact that you recommended somebody and she is now in a better position, so be it. Thank God for that. They are fine. Because if she gets promoted, she could be moving to another company. You don't see her ugly face anymore. Just kidding, right? So, well. You know, there are a few more things in here, guys, but I think you have touched on the foundations of loving your neighbor. Okay, I'll just touch on a few other things here. It's selflessness. I'll just touch on the words, okay? Love is selflessness. Think of what you can do for others rather than what others can do for you. I'm not quoting here the president of the United States. You also have to observe respect. Even if you guys are fighting, you have to learn to respect each other. Don't be quick-tempered. You should learn to forgive and to forget. You got to be trusting. Loving your neighbor is trusting, meaning to say, when you trust each other, then love is strengthened. You could not say you love God if you do not trust God. You got to trust God first, in the same token that you have trusted your friends, your family, and everybody else before you could say you love each other. Okay, now to summarize the whole thing, brothers and sisters, I will read to you something that was written by Pope Francis, which is a prayer in the modern times, which is very current. Okay, so here you go. And I would want you to please pay attention to this about how we could live as Christians and how we could learn to love each other and love God. Here is the new message and the wisdom of Pope Francis as I wrap up on humility. This is what he wrote. Be happy. This is the message from Pope Francis. You can be flawed, anxious, and sometimes irritated. But don't forget that your life is the greatest company in the world. Only you can prevent her from going into decline. That is loving yourself. There are many who appreciate, admire, and love you. And you don't know, but there are people for whom you are special. I would like you to remember that being happy is not having a sky without storms, a road without accidents, work without fatigue, personal relationships without disappointments. This is what we're saying. Love is risky and it could be painful. To continue, to be happy is to find strength in forgiveness, hope in battles, security in the box of fear, love in disagreements. That's respect. Being happy is not only to value the smile, but also to reflect on sadness. It is not just commemorating success, but learning lessons from failure. It is not just having joy with applause, but having joy in anonymity. That is humility. Being happy is recognizing that life is worth living, despite all the challenges, the sadness, misunderstandings, and periods of emotional, economic crisis. Being happy is not a fate of destiny, but a conquest for those who know how to travel within their own being. To be happy is to stop being a victim of problems and become an actor in your own story. It is crossing deserts outside of oneself, but being able to find an oasis in the depths of our soul. And this wisdom is only gained through our prayers and trust in God. To continue, It is thanking God every morning. Prayers, guys, prayers. It is thanking God every morning for the miracle of life. Being happy is not being afraid of your own feelings. It is knowing how to talk about yourself. It is having the courage to hear a no, even from those you love. So this is basically the topic for today of loving your neighbor. It is having security to receive criticism, even if it is unfair. It is kissing the children, pampering the parents, having poetic moments with friends, even if they hurt us. Spending time with your loved ones. To be happy is to let live the free, happy, and simple creature that lives within each one of us. It is having maturity to say, I was wrong. That's humility. It is having the audacity to say, forgive me. It is having sensitivity to express, I need you. It is having the ability to say, I love you. May your life become a garden of opportunity to be happy. May you be a lover of joy in your springs. May you be a friend of wisdom and peace in your winters. And when you make a mistake along the way, you start all over again. Well, then you will be more passionate about life, and you will discover that being happy is not having a perfect life, but to use the tears to water the tolerance. Use the losses to refine the patience. Use fallows to sculpt the serenity. Use pain, lapping pleasure. Use obstacles to open windows of intelligence. Never give up. Trust in God. Never give up on the people you love. Never give up on being happy, because life is an unmissable show. Pope Francis summons everyone, no matter where he is or creed or religion, to a moment of recollection, meditation, or prayers for peace. The whole planet united in prayer for peace. Because if we are all united in prayer for peace, that simply means we care for each other. So that is the end of the message of Pope Francis. And for that, may God be praised. So brothers and sisters, I took a little bit longer. My apologies for that, but I hope I did not confuse you. But I must commend each and every one of you guys. Juliana, everybody who participated, you guys are awesome. You know how to love your neighbor. We have to support each other. We are all in this together. It's not just a motto. It is not just a slogan. Let's start caring for each other, because we all need one another. And all of these things can only be manifested if we trust in God through prayers and actions. Have a good evening. God bless us all.